There we go, I think that's better now. So I've got the mic sorted. Hopefully you can hear me now and the music's not too loud. Got audio, good. Now I just need to fix this one because it's not happy. Right, that's the wrong one. There we go. Right. Are we? But no, almost. There we go. Okay, so we should now have one camera, two cameras, and audio. This is good fun. So far, every time I've streamed, I've had at least one problem, but hopefully that's us. All good now. Perfect. And you can hear me okay. I'm not too loud. The music's not too loud. We'll get this all out of the way before we start. A wee bit. Okay, so happy Friday, finally. I did my wee introduction, but I don't think anybody could hear me because everything was turned off basically, so sounds good, perfect. So yeah, it's another rainy one here, unfortunately. So I have all the lights on in the kitchen because it looked as though it was 9 o'clock at night in here earlier. Not ideal, but what can you do? I hope you're having a better Friday morning, Thursday evening, whatever time it is for you. So today I'm gonna make a German dish. They're called Schupfnudeln, they're kind of like little potato dumplingy pasta type things. They're quite difficult to explain. But basically, maybe a little bit like gnocchi, but a kind of a different shape. Actually, I've got a picture of them that I can show you. Friday 3 AM. That's dedication. Is that another night shift one for you? I'm just gonna get a picture of them so I can show you how they should hopefully look when we're finished. So here, oh, so that's basically what we're looking at. So this is hopefully how it's going to turn out eventually, and I'm going to do it with some sauerkraut, and I'm going to make some fake bacon for the first time ever. We're pretty much vegetarian now, pretty much, and bacon is one thing that I miss because I do enjoy a bit of bacon. I think just that kind of smoky taste. So I'm going to try this recipe that I just found online. I'll post all the recipes at some point as well. Found it online. It looks like a pretty good one. It gets good reviews, so we'll give it a bash and see how we go. Oh, there's a wet cat just come in. Been working nights almost 8 years. Oof, that's full on. I would struggle. Nights is one thing I've never done. I used to work in a bar, and in there it was a hotel bar, so quite often we could be in there till maybe 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and that was more than enough. And I was no use to anyone for the next couple of days. Right, so I'm gonna just get started with this. It's a bit of a process, so again, I've not made either of these recipes before. It's one that I've wanted to make for quite a long time, but never actually really got round to it. And then I thought, I'm not gonna lie, I'm cheating slightly with the sauerkraut. I've not made my own. I've just got a big jar of it, and it's been sitting in the cupboard for a wee while, and I thought I could do with doing something with that. So we're gonna give it a bash today, and if it's nice, that's my lunch. So just gonna get started. So we need to start with our potatoes. So I'm just going to go and grab my potatoes. And it says I need, it was actually, I think it was an American recipe, so I've had to change it to metric measurements, and they're all a bit strange. So I've now got 453.59 grams of potatoes, which is very specific. 157 and 3750 milliliters of flour. So yeah, wish me luck with this one. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but right. I don't know if that's going to be enough. I'll get my scales and see. I find it really difficult to kind of eyeball weights of potatoes. Right, I forgot. So I need 453. Oh, that's perfect. So that's 730 grams. But if I'm peeling them, that'll get rid of some of it. So I think I'll just do all of them, and we can kind of adapt the rest of it just to suit. And we'll see how we go with that. I know, it's one thing I don't understand. Why do we all need different measurements? I'm sure there's a reason to it. I'm sure there's some kind of history to it, but I don't understand it. And I find, obviously I'm used to working with metric, so that when it comes up with like cups and stuff, that's where I really struggle. And especially with baking, I'm not that good at baking to be able to kind of feel how much should be going in. I very much need specific measurements, but I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm hoping. I've had these once they've been finished. I've never actually seen anyone make them, so it could be a bit of an adventure, but hopefully if they turn out nice, they will be quite good. Going to grab my little food waste bag and put all the peelings in there. So have you been cooking anything nice on your stream lately, Link of Hyrule? I had a little look over yesterday to have a wee nosy to see what you were up to, but I think you're online, I think it's the middle of the night here, and I'm long in my bed at that point, unfortunately. So I'm just going to peel these quickly and then give them a quick wash. And then we just want to cook them in simmering water until they're soft. I might actually stick the kettle on first. I've got a cat staring at me because he's absolutely soaked from being outside. Stick that on. Too loud. Jennifer, Janet, hi, welcome to the stream. My cats are trying to convince me they haven't been fed. Yeah, mine do that all the time. You think, I'm the one that fed you. I know fine well that you've been fed. You're talking a lot of nonsense. And that's it. I think they would eat all day, every day if they could. But one of ours, he goes out, he likes to sit out in the rain and then comes back in and he'll sit and wait at your feet until you get a towel and dry him off. It's a bit of a drama queen. So this is saying 500 grams, 450-ish, and that is 3 big potatoes and 3 wee potatoes, which I always think that might be a better way of doing the measurements for potatoes, because I always kind of struggle with them. But good morning, Bishel Tyke, how are you? Nice to see you again. Hope we're all well on this horribly rainy Friday. I hope you've all got nicer weather than we do, because this is just, it's absolutely rotten. And to think that this is technically summer is quite depressing. But I suppose living in Scotland, there's not much else you can expect. Recently I've been doing recipes from the Warcraft game cookbook. Oh! What kind of recipes are in the Warcraft cookbook? Is that like, excuse me being really daft, I've never played Warcraft before, but is that almost like kind of medieval recipes and stuff? That sounds pretty cool. Did a giant burger mukbang. Oh. There's nothing better than a good burger. There really isn't. Because we've been trying to kind of cut down on our meat, we've eaten a lot of vegan burgers recently, vegan and vegetarian burgers. And there's one, and I think it's made with mushrooms. It's either mushrooms or soya. I can't remember which. It's one of the two. And they put, so it's a vegetarian one, because they put little chunks of mozzarella through it. So nice. And then the thing I like with those burgers is that when you cook them, normally you can just cook them in the oven or in a pan. When you cook them, they don't shrink like regular burgers do. So you'll start off with like a big patty and you'll end up with the same size. And that always frustrates me when you cook, if you cook a burger, I think it's like the cheaper burgers, if you cook them they shrink and you get this tiny little patty and a huge big bun. And that's not what you want from a burger. Right, I'm going to wash these now quickly. Rid of all of this. And then for speed, I'm just going to chop these up slightly, just because then they'll cook a bit quicker if they're a bit smaller. Medieval kinda. Actual in-game food was like, that's pretty cool. So what have you made from that book so far then? I've never ever seen like a video game cookbook before. I didn't realise that was a thing. But I bet that's quite interesting. We watched a YouTube video, I think it was just last night, where a guy made beef fudge. And apparently it's like an old-fashioned recipe. I kind of missed the backstory to it. But it's basically, they like roast a bit of beef and then shred it up and then put it through like sugar and evaporated milk and then leave it to set, and it goes like fudge. And it looked absolutely disgusting, but apparently this is something that people used to eat. But they said that when they tried it, it tasted like dog food, and that's exactly what it looked like. It just looked awful. I don't know why you would think to combine beef and fudge. It just makes no sense to me. So I'm just chopping these up nice and fine. Well, not finely. Oh, fix my camera. You can see what I'm chopping it as well. So I'm just chopping these up just to about, just sort of chunks, that kind of size. It doesn't say to do that in the recipe, but if I put them in as they are, it'll take ages for them to cook. And there's a few different steps to the process, so I want to be finished by lunchtime and not sometime tomorrow. Quite looking forward to these actually. It's been ages since we've had these. I don't know how many people have heard of them. I think, I've got a feeling they're like a southern German meal or dish, I think. So it's possibly quite specific. But you can serve it with all sorts of things. You can do it with, one popular one is just to make them up and fry them in a pan with a little bit of sage butter. Couldn't find sage anywhere, I don't know why, but that wasn't an option. So when I had the sauerkraut here anyway, I thought, oh, that's ideal. And then really, we've only ever had it with sauerkraut and bacon. So that was when I thought, I'm going to have a wee look and see if there's a way, surely there's a way I can make like vegetarian or vegan bacon. And this one, it's with rice flour. So you basically make like a little sauce and dip rice paper in this sauce. And it's supposed to make it taste like bacon, but we'll soon see. Just made some bacon called Tracker Snacks. Ooh. So was that bacon that you made from scratch, or was it like a recipe with that you use bacon for? I've had others like buzzard turkey bites and crispy bat. Oh, that sounds awful. At least if it's only chicken, that's not too bad, but thinking of it as crispy bat, that sounds a bit, I think that would put me off slightly. But I quite like that idea of cooking, because I suppose it's probably the kind of things that they would have used in medieval times, but without actually having to use the same ones. You can probably substitute most of it. Right, I'm now, now going to get a pot. When I was veg years ago, my mum found vegetarian bagel bits that were amazing, and I haven't found them since. I also have not found them since. It's one thing that I've been looking for, because we do eat a lot of vegetarian stuff, and I think even on like a salad or something, it'd be nice just to sprinkle some on top. But they're really hard to find. I think you can get them in America. Link of Hyrule, you might know this actually. Have you ever seen, I think it comes in like a plastic kind of tub, and it's just full of little crunchy bits that taste like bacon, and they're actually really nice. The next cookbook might be this. Oh, there's a Star Trek cookbook. There's a whole world of cookbooks that I had no idea about. So what kind of recipes will be in that then? Will that be like kind of space food type idea? That'd be quite interesting. Maybe that's what I need to kind of, that's what I maybe need to add into my repertoire slightly. I'll get rid of that while this isn't. Had them on bagels and dairy free cream cheese delish. Oh, that does sound nice. Yeah, because on bagels you want something tasty on them. I like, I think my favourite on bagels is smoked salmon. I love some smoked salmon, cream cheese, and then some really finely chopped red onion. That's my favourite on a bagel. Yes, the bacon bits. So I think the bacon bits you can get in America, but I have not seen them in years here. So I don't know if it's maybe something you need to order online. I don't know, it's one of these things, it's such a pest if you find something you really like and then they're discontinued or they just seem to disappear. And you think, well, what am I supposed to do now? I was enjoying that. Right, so I'm going to stick my pot on and get these cooking, because it'll take maybe about 20 minutes to cook, because we just want them cooked through so that they're soft, and then we're going to mash them all up, add a few other bits to it, and then roll them out, and then try and shape them, which the recipe says is really straightforward. But I remember once I tried to make, it's another German thing, I tried to make the like soft pretzels, and I think the hardest part about it was trying to shape them. because there's definitely a knack to it, and I think you can find like YouTube videos on how to shape pretzels, but the way they do it, it's like they get the dough, they roll it out into a sausage, they get the dough, and then they just kind of go like that, and they've got a pretzel at the end. And when I do that, I just get dough either on the floor or in a knot. So I think I'm going to need to practice that, because it looks like a pretty cool skill to have, but I've definitely not mastered it yet. But I'm thinking surely these little noodles can't be nearly as difficult as that. But we'll see. Every day's a school day and all that. So I'm going to get some salt to add to the water. American bacon is pog. Pog? What's pog? Am I being really thick? American bacon is pog. Because I think we've got quite different bacons. I think because you tend to have like the streaky bacon, whereas we've got it's got more like actual meat on it and just that like a thin layer of fat around the side. We do get streaky bacon as well, but that's definitely like a special kind of bacon. See, all this talk about bacon. Oh, you can tell I'm new here, can't you? Twitch speak for the best. I might need to write that one down. I hadn't realised there was a Twitch dictionary as well. I'm going to need to look into that. I thought I was doing quite well. I feel like I've almost got things sort of, I feel like I'm almost on top of things, but there's still things that keep popping up. I tried to do a raid yesterday for the first time and that didn't work. But, as I said, every day's a school day, so we'll get there eventually. Right, I'm going to put my hob on. Not too high, because if I put it on too high it's going to be really loud. Water. That should do. So I've got the pot about half full with water, and then I'll just be careful when I put these in. I'll try not to burn myself on the boiling water. So I'm just going to leave these in for probably, oh that's quite hot, probably about, I'll maybe get a spoon for this, this is real, about 20 minutes. Yeah, that's much safer. I don't want to end up scalding myself making potatoes. Yeah, so these will be on for about 20 minutes, and then in the meantime I think we'll make a start on the bacon, kind of sauce that we're going to put the rice paper in. It'll be interesting to see if this works, because I feel like this could be quite a handy recipe to have. And I've soaked my worktop now. Right, that's better. So this wants to be simmering, so we're not quite there. Oh. And I've just learned how to put, hold on, start again. Oh, all my technical stuff is working wonders for me this morning. Just managed to put a timer on my hob when I didn't actually want one. Right, that'll do. So we'll leave that for 20 minutes until the potatoes start to soften. and then we can mash them up. It says to use a, what's it called, a potato ricer, which I don't have. I've just got one of like the hand mashers. So I'm just going to hope that if I get them soft enough, I can really kind of batter them with a masher, and that'll get all the lumps out. Obviously a potato ricer, if you've got a potato ricer, that would be much easier, but who owns a potato ricer? Is that a fairly common thing? I don't know. It'd be nice though, because there's nothing I like better than really, really smooth mashed potato. So maybe it's something I need to invest in. Right, that's doing its thing there. So we're going to leave that just to do what it's doing. And then we're going to have a wee look at the rice paper bacon. So it says we want 2 sheets of rice paper. And then the other ingredients are tamari, maple syrup, nutritional yeast and smoked paprika. Which does sound interesting, so I suppose it'll be a kind of bacony, cheesy flavour. We'll see. I'm interested. Right, so I've got my rice paper, and technically this is just rice paper, yeah. So this is rice paper, and it's just the ones for the spring, like if you're making spring rolls. So obviously, I don't know if you can actually buy these square. Obviously if you had a square one that would be better, because you want kind of strips of bacon. But I'm not sure that's a thing, so I'm just going to use this, and we'll just have some bits that are kind of a bit of a strange shape, but at the end of it I'm just going to kind of crumble it up anyway, so it's not really going to matter what shape it is. So we've got that, maple syrup, nutritional yeast and smoked paprika. Technology and me do not mix well. I am exactly the same. Absolutely hopeless. That's it. I've got this set up. It's all ready to go. All sorted. I've done it a couple of times now, and then I came on this morning and not one thing worked. But I got it fixed quite quickly. I don't think too many people noticed, so we're okay. Right, how big I should do it. Right, I need to whisk it, so I want a bigger bowl so I don't make a mess. Use this one. So, and tamari. Yeah, so in case you're wondering, tamari it's just soy sauce, but it's gluten-free soy sauce. So because I am gluten-free, obviously I can't have regular soy sauce, but this stuff, it tastes exactly the same. I mean, it's been a while since I've had regular soy sauce, so I don't know if I would notice a difference, but anytime I give anyone else tamari, no one's known the difference. And I think it's a Japanese soy sauce, and then regular soy sauce is more Chinese. So, and it tends to be fairly easy to get. I mean, I can get that in most of our supermarkets, so if you're looking for that, just look out for tamari rather than soy sauce. Although this one's called tamari soy sauce, but it says on it it's gluten-free. Okay, a small mixing bowl, 1 tablespoon of tamari, maple syrup, and a teaspoon of paprika. A little measuring bits out. And then I know I'm just waiting to have issues with my maple syrup. I don't know if this is the same with anybody else, but I've got these 2 open bottles of maple syrup, and every time I try and open them up, the maple syrup is like congealed round the lid and it won't budge. So I end up having to run it under the hot water to melt like the sugar that's round the top to even get the lid off. So I've got a feeling that's going to happen again today. after me saying that, there must have been all these exercises I'm doing. Not really. And then we've got 1/4 tablespoon of maple syrup. And that's maybe about half, but so this recipe, when I looked at it, it said it makes 12 pieces. I thought that seemed like quite a lot for just a couple of, although, because I'm going to have quite a lot of noodles, so I might actually double it back up again, and then I can keep some if I have this again over the weekend. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go for another tablespoon of the tamari, and we'll just have to hope it's nice then if I've got loads of it. So that's 2 tablespoons of tamari instead. And again, you could, if you're not gluten free and you have soy sauce, you could just use regular soy sauce for this, because it does just taste very similar. I'm going to put a little bit of this in because I think I put too much in the first place, and probably again there too, but oh well. And then we want a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. I really like the smell of nutritional yeast. It's kind of nutty and cheesy at the same time. Right, so I'm doubling this up, so I want 2 tablespoons, so that's about-ish. And then a smoked paprika, and I want a half, so doubled. And my pot's not doing much, so I'm going to put it up a little bit and see if that does anything. Right, so a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Right, I'm going to put this other camera on and you can see, hopefully. So that's what it looks like at the moment. It looks a bit odd, but we'll go with it. We'll whisk it and we'll see what happens. I have to get back to work. No problem. I hope you enjoy the rest of your shift, and thanks again for coming along and watching, and have a good weekend when it comes, and I'll maybe see you on Sunday. Still need to try and make those cheese muffins. Yes, the cheese muffins, I'm not gonna lie, they are so good. They are so good. They're so easy to make as well, which is really good, and if you're packaged, you can just kind of throw them together and you've got something tasty and savoury, just to eat like a little savoury snack. Thank you very much for the follow, Dyer Hilt. Is that how you say that? Please let me know if I've murdered it. Right, this looks very strange. I don't know how much of this you can actually see. So it's looking quite, although, oh my god, it smells like bacon. It actually smells like bacon. So I'm just going to give this a proper good stir. Although I don't know if it maybe needs to be slightly more liquid. I'm not sure. And that's for 12 strips of bacon apparently. So we'll see how we go with this. I can't believe how much like bacon that smells. Will it go crispy? Yes, apparently it will go crispy. So once I've coated the rice paper in the sauce, we'll pop it in the oven for just 4 to 5 minutes, and that'll come out, and you just let it sit for a minute or two before you actually do anything with it, and it should be nice and crispy then. And then I think I read on it that if you make a load of it and you want to use some more another day, you can just pop it back in the oven for a minute or two just to crisp it back up again, because it will go a bit softer once it's been out for a wee while, or if you've had it in the fridge. So I'm really intrigued to see how this works, because I've got a good feeling about it now. I wasn't sure before I started. But yeah, no, I think I'm nearly convinced. My potatoes are actually doing something now, which is good. I'll get rid of all of these. Just pop these out the road a wee bit. Right, so I'm now going to get, so what did they say, 2 sheets of rice paper, so I've doubled it. That now seems like quite a lot. Right, I'll maybe start with 2 and then try the other 2. Yeah, so that's what a rice paper looks like. So it's quite solid at the moment. And then normally, if you were going to make, we quite often make summer rolls with these. So if you're going to make summer rolls with them, you then want to just soak this in some water, just for maybe 10 to 20 seconds, and just kind of play about with it, and you can actually start to feel it going kind of bendy and a lot more malleable. But obviously I think for this one we want to keep it as it is. Right, so I want to get scissors to chop it up into thin stripes. And to try and make this kind of look bacony. I feel like I should have like those, you know, like the craft scissors you used to get when you were wee, and they would make like a kind of a wave once you cut with them. I feel like that would be quite good for this. Does that look like bacon? I don't know. I don't know whether to half these or I suppose since I'm crumbling them up, it shouldn't make too much of a difference. Oh, right, I think I'm just going to do 2. I'll do 2 to begin with, because then I can see how much of the sauce I've actually got left. And this recipe is just one that I found online. It's a guy that I follow on Instagram who does, I think almost all of his recipes are plant-based, and he does a lot with like gluten-free, dairy-free and refined sugar-free. So if you're interested, it's Healthy Living James, and I'll pop the recipes that I'm using today up on the chat at some point, so you can go over and try them for yourself if you wanted. Right, I'm going to need to make a bit of space now, so I'll pop all of this stuff out the road. I don't know if you can see the change in the light, but the sun just came out for about a second there, so we might get a good day after all. Okay, so the potatoes are blubbering away by themselves, that's quite good. For the next part, let me see. Right, okay, so I need to preheat my oven. Right, so you want to preheat your oven and you want a hot baking tray. So I'm just going to line the tray with some greaseproof paper and pop it in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius, which I think is probably about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So I'll pop that in to heat up the tray, and then we can start dipping the strips into the sauce. Use my scissors. Fingers crossed the sun sees it. Thank you very much. We could do with a bit of sunshine. It's not been much of a summer for us here, but I mean, even if we could get a bit of sun over the weekend, that would be quite nice. It would make a bit of a change, and it would be a bit. Maybe we could actually do something at the weekend rather than staying inside all the time. in the oven. It's getting nice and hot. And I'm now just going to have a little look and see how this goes with this dipping. So I've got a feeling I'm going to end up in a bit of a mess. I don't know whether to brush it. It does just say dip. So that is what you're going to end up with. And then obviously that's just going to go on the baking paper. Good morning. Hello to you too, how terrific, nice to see you again. Murphy is in his bed sleeping. He came in, you missed him actually earlier. He was on, well, I didn't put him on the camera because he looked like a little drowned rat. It had been raining all morning, so he came in and was absolutely soaked. So he's away into his bed now. Fake bacon, yes. Now this is a fairly recent discovery for me. I found it online, just a recipe that I found online, and bacon is one thing that I love. Every so often I'll treat myself to a little bit of bacon, but I always thought it'd be interesting to try and find if there is like a vegetarian or a vegan way of doing it. As we were talking about before, there used to be like little bacon bits that we used to be able to buy. I think you guys can still get it in the US, but it seems to have disappeared here. And they were just little crunchy bits of like fake bacon, and they were really, really nice. So I found this recipe and I'm gonna give it a bash. And it's basically, so what we got, tamari, so soy sauce, maple syrup, nutritional yeast, and smoked paprika. And that's what that is. And then we've got rice paper strips that I've just cut up. And we're gonna dip it in, coat it and bake it, and apparently that's going to be bacon, so we'll see. I mean, to be fair, it really smells like bacon. I didn't think it would, but it really does. Did you see drowned rat? Yes, that's what the cat looked like when he came in. Really skinny and all his hair was kind of sticking out. Not a good look, but he's okay now, he's sleeping. The place I used to live made coconut bacon. How does that work? So is that like strips of coconut that then taste like bacon, or, and was it vegan? I'm very intrigued by that. That sounds very peculiar. Right, so I need somewhere to put this, but I really just want to wait for the pan heating up, because if I put it on a tray, I'm going to get all of the sauce on the tray. Right, hold on, I'm going to get my little brush maybe. Poor Murphy. Oh, he's fine now. I think he can hear us talking about him. He's looking at me again. And the other cat is Isla. So hold on, I'll type it. I think it's a Scottish name. So that's the second one, and she's sleeping as well. She's in her bed sleeping. It is vegan. They made it on a vegan food truck. Ooh. So was it in like strips, or how did they do that? Or was it like kind of chunks rather? That does sound strange. But I would definitely give it a go. Yeah. And the recipe that I found, it does get some really good reviews. So, I mean, I'm thinking it could be quite good. Plus, it seems really easy to make if it works. So, and then presumably, if you made a load of it, you could just break it all up and put it in a little jar, and then kind of have your own fake bacon jar. This that's a waste of time trying to brush it. Now I'm just going to have to get messy. Chunks of it. And what did they serve that with? So could you just buy it like that to take home with you to use, or would they put it on stuff? It's funny, I hadn't realised there were that many ways of making bacon. Oh, look at that. That's not going to end well. I'm going to hold off with that and wait until my tray's out, because then I can put it straight onto the tray. So that'll be hot, and then what's in all the potatoes. buy it in the bag. Oh, BLTs. Oh, I feel like these might make quite a nice BLT sandwich as well. That's a good idea actually. I'm really hoping these work now because this could open up a whole lot of possibilities. Nah, they're still solid. Still solid, we'll need to wait a wee bit for them. Oh. If I'm quick, there he is. That's him, he's up and he's away back outside. Put back in the right place. There we go. Right, so hopefully in a couple of minutes my tray will be ready. But no problem. I'm really excited about this now. Now I really want just like a good old-fashioned bacon sandwich. And I think this could work quite well for it. If you like crispy bacon, I think that's going to be the issue. If you're not a big fan of crispy bacon, if you like it more like kind of soft and chewy, which I think is horrible, it needs to be crispy for me. But if you don't like crispy bacon, this might not be the right thing for you. But I don't know anybody that doesn't like crispy bacon, so we'll check having it. I'm just gonna put this. Oh, that, yeah, no, that is fair enough. And I was getting bored waiting. Right, so I'm gonna end up in such a mess for this, I think. So that's our first bit coated. It does look quite interesting. And I think possibly you want the tray to be hot before you start, because I think that'll help the sauce stay stuck to the paper rather than it sort of getting stuck to the greaseproof paper underneath. Bacon sandwich and iron brew used to be the only thing for Sunday morning. Yeah, definitely. Although I found there's one company, I think they're still doing it, where they have reproduced iron brew, and I think it's called Enerzaid. So they've got a version of iron brew and a version of Lucozade with the full sugar, and it's supposed to be really nice. I think they had problems to begin with because they weren't fizzy enough. There was something wrong with like the carbonation or something, but I think they might have that sorted. I've yet to try it, but this could be like an alternative. So you could make a bacon sandwich with this and then get your fake iron brew from this other company. I think you can buy it online. I'm sure it's Enerzaid it's called. Yeah, so doing this with your fingers it's disgusting, but it's working a lot better. So you don't need nearly as much of the sauce because you can just kind of like pat it on, because I don't know how that. So that sauce was supposed to be for 12 strips of bacon, but I've only got 4 so far and I've nearly run out. So I might need to make some more. But it does look quite cool, and if you put it on with your fingers, then you do kind of get that almost kind of streaky look. Yeah, I'm very intrigued. And I just think bacon's quite a nice thing just to have a little bit of, that you can add if it's on salads, or you can add it to a sandwich, or like we said before, like a bagel with cream cheese. I think it's quite nice, even if you've got like maybe pasta. If you do like a pasta with tomato sauce, you could get some fake bacon and just sprinkle a little bit on top. So I think there's quite a lot of uses for it. So if it works out well, I might try and just make a big batch of it and then keep it. I don't know if you'd have to keep it in the fridge, or I think you could probably just keep it in the cupboard. keep it in the cupboard, and then so then you've just got little bits of bacon whenever you feel like it. Yeah, no, I'm definitely running out now. So that's about 6 pieces that I got from that amount. So I think I might do the same again. Oh, that's weird. Wait, I'll show you this. I don't know if you can see that. No, you won't be able to. But one of the bits actually looks like it's starting to crisp up already. I'm going to wash my hands quickly because that's not a good look. Bacon makes everything better. Yes, definitely. Right. So I'm going to make this probably the same again of that, and then we'll make, because that's only, I can show you. I mean, look at that, looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think this was my first one, and I think it's got far too much sauce on it. But the rest look pretty good. And you can actually see this one, it started to like crisp up a little bit from the heat of the pan. So it's looking good so far. So I'm going to grab the ingredients and make another lot. So probably enough of everything. What did we have? Let's get my spoons back. Quick check on these before I... Oh no, they're still solid. Right. Start again. It's like deja vu in here. So I think I'll just make the same again and just keep going until it runs out, because I'm impressed by this. Now that I've actually put it together, I've got a good feeling about it. So we've got 2 tablespoons of the nutritional yeast, and if you're looking for this, if you've not seen this before, a lot of vegans use it because it is vegan. It tastes kind of cheesy. It's kind of cheesy and nutty. So, and then I can actually, I'll show you what it looks like. And it's almost like a little bit like kind of Parmesan flakes. Can you see that? So that's what that looks like. And it just, I like to add it to, on the top of like pastas, or I make like a cashew cheese kind of sauce thing with it. And then obviously in this it works really well. I hadn't realised that bacon tasted of cheese, but apparently it must do if this is working. Big Davy, good morning, Big Davy. How are you? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Would you ever put that? Oh, on popcorn. Oh, that might be a game changer, because I like popcorn, but I'm not a huge sweet fan. I much prefer like savoury snacks. So I do quite like cheese. I've had cheesy popcorn or butter popcorn rather than like the sweet caramelly popcorn. So that might be it. Oh, I might need to try that. That sounds really nice. Not bad, Tat. Good to hear that. Yeah, I'm not too bad, thank you. Just trying to ignore the weather outside because we have a horrible, horrible day again. But I've got all my lights on. I'm making fake bacon, so it could be much worse. And then we've got a teaspoon of the smoked paprika. You haven't had it on popcorn? No, I have not had it on popcorn. So would you just make the popcorn and then sprinkle the flakes on top, or would you do anything else with it? Or I've got corn that I can make into popcorn, so I might do that later on. It could rock your world or ruin it. No middle ground, right? I'm willing to try it. I'll give it a bash. I'm okay with that. Thank you very much for the follow, Big Davy. Much appreciated. Nice to have you here. What have I not had? What have I not put in? The syrup, maple syrup. I'm really intrigued by this cheesy popcorn now. And half a tablespoon of maple syrup. Tiny bit more maybe. Thank you. I really want to, right, so you're going to have to tell me how terrific, you can't leave me hanging like that. So you just make the popcorn and when it, maybe when it's still hot, just pour the flakes on the top. And then it might kind of melt in a wee bit. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a bit of an experiment, I think. I think it was just the nutritional yeast. I could see that working quite well. Maybe with the nutritional yeast and a little bit of salt, maybe. I'm going to make, so we've got our fairly horrible looking mixture here. And I'm just going to mix it together again. It just looks so strange like this. And then that's what it looks like once it's all kind of whisked together. And I cannot believe how much it smells like bacon. I never ever would have thought of mixing these 4 things to make something that tastes like bacon. Right, and then we've got our rice paper strips. It does look a bit like a barbecue sauce actually. You can see it, yeah. It's maybe slightly more red than it's looking on the camera. Because it is quite a red colour. And this one feels a little bit thicker than the last one, but so I'm just going to kind of coat. I don't think there's any other cleaner way of doing this. I think you do just have to use your fingers and then just pop them on the tray with the rest of them. I'm really excited to see how these turn out now, because I feel like this could be a bit life-changing, like the cheesy popcorn. I might do that tonight actually if it's still raining and horrible. I think tonight would be a good night for a movie and some cheesy popcorn. I think I'm sold on that idea. And I can let you know if it works or not. Like jerky? Aha! So it does actually. I mean, I think it'll be a lot more crispy than jerky. Obviously jerky is normally quite chewy. But maybe if you made it and then kind of left it to sit, it's supposed to kind of lose its crispiness if it's sitting for a wee while. So maybe if you do it that way and deliberately leave it, it might go a bit kind of chewy, jerky way. And this begs the obvious question, which movie? I feel so out of the loop with movies, it's ridiculous. I cannot remember the last time I watched a movie. Although one that we were talking about watching was The Joker, because I've not seen that one yet. I've heard varying opinions. I've heard some people say that it's really good and some people didn't enjoy it. And I think some people said it was really sad. We can all watch a movie together. Do people do that? That would be quite cool. Especially if you were sitting on your own, you could sit and put a film on and just have a little chat with the Twitch chat. How does everyone feel about the Joker movie? Have we seen it? Have we not seen it? Did we enjoy it? Did we cry? Apparently it's supposed to be really sad. I'm sure it was the Joker movie that people said was really sad. And I cry at all films, so that'll be me gone. Good morning. Oh, how do I pronounce that? Is it Simon Lides? Simon, come on. Nice to see you here. I hope you're having a good day so far. Well, this at the moment is fake bacon. So it's rice paper with a kind of a sauce of maple syrup, soy sauce, smoked paprika and nutritional yeast, and it's just been mixed together, and then I just have to kind of get really horrible and kind of coat these rice paper strips in it. So I think that'll do. There's a couple here that don't have that much on, so I'm going to put a little bit more on these. And then once we've got this, so the rest of it is, it's a German dish, and it's like kind of potato dumpling noodles. They're quite difficult to explain. They're probably most similar to gnocchi, that kind of idea, a slightly different shape. And then you boil them and fry them. And I'm going to make them with some sauerkraut and this fake bacon. I heard it was scary, and I don't do scary. Oh, I like scary movies, and it's been a long time since I've watched a scary movie, so I think I would be quite up for that actually. They do. Some people watch movies on Discord and then chat on Discord. Oh, that's a good idea. I like that. I'm on Discord now. I don't fully know what I'm doing with it, and I don't think I have my own yet, but I'm working on it. One thing at a time. I've managed to get my technical stuff working today, so that'll do me for this stream, and then maybe over the weekend I'll have a look properly and see if I can figure out what I'm doing with it. Although I think it's quite good for like sharing recipes and stuff, so it might be quite good. Cool, yeah. Hopefully it'll taste quite nice. It's a couple of recipes that I've not made before, so we'll see. I've eaten them before. I've not eaten the bacon, but I've eaten the little noodles, and they are really, really nice. So hopefully I can recreate it. Haven't seen Joker yet, but I've heard mixed things. That was exactly the same with me. I think that's why I've not watched it yet, because people either seem to love it or hate it. So I'm not sure, but I think it's worth a watch probably. I think I've stained my fingers now. That stuff is very potent. So this is the exciting part. I'm now going to put the bacon in the oven for 4 to 5 minutes just. So I hope you can, so that's what it looks like. And I would say that looks quite bacon-like. So I'm going to pop it in the oven for 4 to 5 minutes, and we'll see what it looks like when it comes out. Yep, that's fine. I don't need to turn them or anything. Strange, even just popping them in the oven there, they're starting to crisp up a little bit, and it definitely looks like bacon. I'm impressed. I love scary movies. Oh, so damn, I love them. Last movie I saw was a sequel to Train to Busan. That would go Train to Busan. Peninsula. Korean zombie movies. Well, that's a niche. That's a very specific kind of movie. See, I like the really sort of typical horror movies. Like, I love a bit of Saw. I would say my favourite horror film is The Shining. I used to watch that when I was smaller and scared the life out of me, but I would still keep watching it. I just absolutely love it. It looks bacon. It does, and I'm quite impressed with it so far. I just can't wait to get it back out of the oven to see what it looks like once it's cooked. I'm going to check on Train to Busan is an excellent movie. I think I've heard of that. I've never actually seen it on anywhere. Do you know if it's on like Netflix or Prime or anything? Or would I need to buy it? Well, potatoes are still fairly hard, but I've possibly used the wrong potatoes. I think there's supposed to be like certain kinds of potatoes used for different things, but it was the only ones I had. So, did you watch the sequel to The Shining? Is that the one? What's it? Is it Doctor Sleep? Is that what it's called? I have read most of it. I read most of it on holiday, and then didn't finish it on holiday, and then forgot to read any of the rest of it. But I've heard it's supposed to be really, really good. Because that's the one where Danny's grown up, isn't it? No spoilers or anything. It smells like Doctor Sleep, yeah. No, I've not seen that yet. Maybe that's the one to watch tonight, actually. That was some cheesy popcorn, and I probably won't sleep again for a week. I'm going to get rid of the last of these bits of... Because that, with that paprika, you would stain everything you touch. It's not true to the book, I was told I enjoyed it. Yeah, I find that seems to be the case a lot of the time with movies that have got the book as well, but there was a lot to the book, if I remember. It was quite a chunky one and there was a lot in it, so I can't imagine that they would have been able really to portray that in the film, because the film would then have been about however many hours long. Just take that off just now. Right, so I'm now just waiting for our bacon. I'm not quite sure what the pot of potatoes is doing, but it's splashing everywhere. Oh, get this now. Yeah, so that recipe, I'll pop it up. Oh. I'll pop the recipe up, but that says so I would say you have to double the amount for however much you want to do, because I did half and only got a little amount, so yeah, if you're making it, double it. Right, are we ready? Right, okay, Okay, some of it's burnt. Interesting things when maybe in terms of preparation, but no, I'll maybe watch that tonight. Actually, that sounds like a good shout. Right, so I've got my bacon out. This is what it looks like. I think it could have done with slightly less time in the oven. And you're supposed to leave it for about a minute. And I've just read the rest of the recipe, and it says keep an eye on it and don't let it burn. Oops. But we can just get rid of the little burnt bits, that'll be okay. So you're supposed to leave it for a minute and let it crisp up, because when it came out it was still a wee bit kind of soft, but it seems to be crisping up already. Oh, can we see that? Look at that. It's like a proper bit of bacon. Right, hang on, I'm going to put you up here. And I'll grab a bit. Look! And it's properly, like, fairly solid. It doesn't smell as much like bacon now. I'm going to try a little bit. Oh! That tastes really like bacon. It's got that kind of salty, smoky, sweet flavour. The crispier the better. I like it a bit burnt. Yeah, I'm like that as well. I like it to be really crispy, especially the fat. If you've got proper bacon, the fatty bits, they have to be properly crispy. looks a bit like strips of corn bacon. Ah, I don't think I've seen them. They do, I mean, they look, yeah, they look like a stained piece of wood. I mean, maybe not the most appetizing, but if you crumble it up, no, that just looks like wood chip. Yeah, it just looks like little pieces of wood. But I'm not gonna lie, I think to have it in like a bacon sandwich, that might be a bit strange because it's so thin. But if you were just gonna sprinkle on top of stuff, that's actually really nice. No, I'm happy with that. Right, I'm gonna get a little plate or a bowl or something and just put that on to get out the road. And it does, it comes away from the paper well, and all of the sauces stayed on. So that, I would say that was a success. I would definitely make that again. If I needed a bacon fix, or a fix of a piece of wood, then this is the way to go. Oh, and you can see, right, so I've got all of these ones where I did it just with my fingers and just kind of patted the sauce on. And then you can see this first one was the one I dipped in, and it's still a bit floppy. It doesn't look quite as nice as the rest. So I think that's the trick, is just to kind of use your fingers and kind of coax it on like that. I'm going to get this out of the road and we'll look at our potatoes. What's wrong in here? Right, I think these must be done. These have taken so long to cook. The thing is, we want to mash these up, so I like chewy baked potatoes, right? So that's the chewy one. So that bit is quite hard, quite crispy, but this bit in the middle, it actually kind of tears a piece. For science, yeah, we'll do it for science. Really strong. Oh, that's a bit much. I mean, the texture's not bad, but there's far too much of the sauce on it. Oh, no. Yeah, so the chewy texture is actually fine. I can live with that. But there's far too much. I mean, that's more sauce than rice paper, and it's so strong. No, I can't eat another bit of that one, so I'm going to keep that to the side so I know not to have that later on. So I hope you enjoyed that science experiment. But yes, I would say you could leave it in for slightly less time to have it not as crispy, but just watch you don't put too much of the sauce on, or it's fairly inedible. Oh, it actually feels like it's burnt my mouth. I think that's maybe the smoked paprika. I know, I hide it well. I did. That was one of those things though. Sometimes you just try something and it just hits you. And that was one of those things. I thought, oh no, that's not good. So yeah, thanks for that. Right, these must be nearly done. They're starting to fall apart a little bit. I don't want to take them out too early because I've only got a potato masher and I want it to be fairly easy to mash the lumps out. So I don't want them to be, if they're too hard, I'll mash it and they'll just be big lumps in. So I still can't get that taste out of my mouth. It's so strong. I was really enjoying it until I had that one bit. which is a shame because the rest is really nice. And I mean, look, it's still, oh, I've put the camera off. It still stains so crispy. I mean, look, how good's that? But yeah, they do look a bit like stained bits of wood. Right, so we'll go back to our other recipe. Oh, I need to eat something else. That's, oh, too much. Yeah, thank you. I need something to get that away. I mean, yeah, I like, especially when I like if I like bacon, it is really crispy, and I find that the crispier it is, the stronger tasting it is. So normally I would think that that would be okay, but I don't know whether it is because it's, I mean, that's like raw smoked paprika, and there's probably quite a lot on that bit, and I think that's it. It tastes like it's burning you. So I wouldn't recommend that part, but if you're going to do it, don't put too much on and spread it out nice and thin, and then it'll be lovely. Ultimate test, get someone to eat it but don't tell them what it is and get them to guess. Ah, that's a good idea actually. I might need to do that. I'll do a little taste test. I'll keep a few bits back, but I think you would need to blindfold them or something so that they couldn't see what it was. Because I mean, I've just seen this one. This bit looks a bit strange. Can you see the texture on that? So I think if you were served that, you might think, what on earth? But the taste is nice if you do it properly. That could be my next Twitch ultimate bacon taste test. I don't know who'd be up for eating that though. Right, I think I'm gonna drain my potatoes now. I don't know what kind of potatoes these are, but they're still. Can you overcook potato? I don't know if you can overcook them, but either way, I'm going to put it off and we'll give it a good mash and see if we can get through it. Reminds me of some veggie. No, I think keep that one to yourself just in case. They're falling apart a wee bit, so hopefully I'll be able to mash them okay. Find my masher. I was inspired by the chat on, what day is it today? Friday. On Wednesday I made, what did I make? Oh, gluten-free and vegan mushroom balls, so like meatballs but without the meat. They're really, really nice and it worked really well, but we ended up in the chat just talking about potatoes. And by the end of it I thought, I don't want pasta, all I want to eat is potatoes. So today I thought, I'm going to make something with potatoes. But I think I'm on at the wrong time, so all the people that joined me in the chat on Wednesday, I think they're all in different time zones, so they possibly won't be able to see me making potatoes. Right, I don't know if this is going to show you anything at all, or if that's just a waste of time. So they're still quite hard. Oh, I've just realised I've read the recipe wrong. I'm sure it won't make a big difference, but it says, apparently the recipe says so you don't peel them, so you boil them with the skins on, but I was trying to be clever and peeled them and chopped them so that it wouldn't take as long. But it says to wash the potatoes, cook them, peel them when they're still warm, and then press through a potato ricer. So I'm sure I don't know what the difference will be, but I'm sure they'll still be okay. We'll take pasta over potatoes, but right. Oh, so you would be rice, pasta, potatoes. See, I find that a really tricky one because I think I would be potatoes first and then, see, rice, like if I'd like a curry with rice, I'm not as bothered about rice like that, but a risotto, I love a risotto. And then it depends what kind of pasta. So I think I would switch between pasta and rice as my joint second, but definitely potatoes first. I could eat potatoes all day, every day. And I think my favourite kind is just a simple, like, cheesy garlic mash. You just cannot beat a cheesy garlic mash. But again, it has to be really smooth. I don't like lumps. So as smooth as you can get it. It's way too late for me, we can't sleep. That'll be it. Oh no. What time is it over there just now? I'm glad I can provide some potato mashing for you while you can't sleep. Amazing son at fine score. Ah, yeah. But I think that's the thing as well. I think it does depend on what you grow up with, and you're probably used to rice being a lot tastier than I would make rice, because I don't really know what I'm doing with rice. If I do use rice, it tends to just be like boiled rice for curry or a risotto, and that's really all I would do with rice. Cheesy garlic mash or oh yeah, I could go scallop potato as well. Just any potato. I think that's it as well. I think because I'm British, that we eat a lot of potatoes. So for us, our kind of standard diet, or it would be for a long time, I think it's changed now quite a bit, but the stereotypical would be sort of meat, potatoes and veg. And I think the whole pasta and rice is, in the grand scheme of things, probably newer maybe. But I think that's it. I mean, we grew up mostly, I would say, with potatoes. So that's just what I'm used to, and that's what I enjoy. But I do enjoy a good rice dish or a good pasta dish every so often. Friday, 3:30 AM. Oh. And you have to work tomorrow. Oh God. Came off nights early this week, so it's hard to adjust. Yeah, I don't know how you can do that. So do you have like a rota that you do you'll do like a week of nights and a week of days? Or I would really struggle with that because I'm a big sleeper. I love my sleep, and if I don't get sort of a good 7-8 hours sleep, I really struggle. I don't think there's anything better than an afternoon nap. So I love a wee, just after lunch, a wee nap after lunch. But yeah, I couldn't work nights. I don't think I would really, really struggle. So hats off to you. So we're getting there with the potatoes. I can show you how it's looking. So I'm just kind of mashing it as much as I can to get as many of the lumps out, because you don't want lumps in the little noodles. Usually 2 days, 1 night, or one. Oh God, oh that's hard. That's really hard. Like I feel like it might be slightly easier if you were kind of week on, week off, because then you would have the time to, or you give your body the chance to kind of get used to the new routine. But if you're just doing like a couple of days and then switching, that's tough. I do not. There's nothing better than a good nap. It's so funny. I saw that on, I think it was maybe Facebook or something, where people used to say like these were, like you would be threatened with a nap. You'd be threatened to be sent to your bed when you were little. And now as an adult, you couldn't think of anything better than during the day to go to your bed and have a nap. And it's just funny how these things change over time. Right, I'm going to have mussels by the end of this, good God. So I think definitely still got some lumps, but I'm not sure how unlumpy I'm going to get it. Get a spoon and get a proper good look at it. We'll see what we're working with. Oh, let me steam from those potatoes it's roasted. Right. So I think that's looking not too bad. There are still lumps, but I'm not sure how unless Amazon can do me a potato masher or a potato ricer in the next, say, half an hour. They're quick, but I'm not sure they're that quick. Woke up felt like crap, so I treated myself to some food court Chinese food and ginger and crab. Oh, that sounds delicious. But I hope you're feeling a bit better now. Hopefully, I always think food can heal a lot of stuff, so if you eat some good food, that normally helps, but you'll be tired after all of that and then you can't sleep, so it's not really ideal. Especially if you're working tomorrow. Not ideal. Hopefully you get Sunday off though. Okay, I think I'm going to give up with this one because I don't think I'm making any more progress and it's too hot. It's just getting this steam off it. It's absolutely roasting. Oh, I'm going to get some stuff for me. Right. So I think that'll do. Oh, see, ginger and onion crab, that sounds delicious. I'm a big fan of seafood. I don't eat a lot of it. I try to eat not too much, but I do love seafood. I think I could give up all meat a lot easier than I could give up fish. Took a food coma. Sometimes you need that. I find most days after lunch, if I eat too much, because I like quite a big lunch, I like quite big meals, and it'll probably be the same after this, that once, excuse me, once I've had my lunch, I kind of go, oh, I could just have a wee snooze now. And then an hour later, I'm like, oh no, I really need to get up and get some work done. Sometimes it makes you feel better and sometimes it makes you feel much worse. Ginger and onion sauce. Oh, that sounds lovely. I love ginger. I'm a big fan of ginger. We really got into the ginger shots with apple juice and ginger pressed through. I got one of these juicers for maybe Christmas last year or the year before. And there's nothing better than a good ginger shot when it's really, it almost hurts to drink it. Oh, it's great. Right. Okay, I'm going to give up now and move on to the next. Okay, so I want to spread it onto a baking sheet and let it cool. I'm going to get my baking sheet back out. The only problem is my baking sheet is now hot, which is not ideal. How much have I got? Can I use a little one? Yeah. While I rearrange my kitchen. Scissors. See, that's still hot as well. That's not going to cool it down really quickly then. Ginger shot. Oh, see, I love a ginger shot. There's nothing better. I'm off enjoy the dumplings. I love the bacon. Yes, I will let you know how that goes. And I hope you manage to get some sleep before your shift tomorrow. I hope it's not too horrendous for you. And thanks again for joining us. And hopefully it'll all go okay from here on in. So that's still quite warm, but I'll stick it in the fridge and that should help. Okay, so I want to spread it out onto a baking tray. So we're basically just doing this to try and get it to cool a bit quicker, because I'm not really sure what the reason is, but you want it to be cool when you add, because you add an egg. So once it's cool, you can add the flour and the egg and the seasoning. because obviously if it's too hot then it'll start to cook the egg, and I don't think that's what you want. So I'm just going to pop it all out onto the baking tray and kind of flatten it as much as I can, and that will get it cooled a bit quicker. It's quite sticky. So I think that's, I watched the Purple Coffin stream yesterday, and she was, or was it, no, Wednesday, and she was making a potato soup, and she was talking about the different kinds of potatoes and what potatoes you should use for different things, and I find it quite interesting because I think quite often with recipes you do kind of go, well, it just says potatoes, so I'll just get a bag of potatoes and it shouldn't really matter what potatoes it is, but there definitely does seem to be specific potatoes that are better for some things than others. I don't know, I've not figured out what they are. I'm sure I could Google it. But there definitely does seem to be like, because you can get like starchy potatoes, you can get floury potatoes, and I think it depends what you're using them for, what kind of potatoes you'd want. But, so I've got a feeling these are possibly the wrong potatoes for what I want to do. But see, we get our veg delivered to us just in a little box, so it's like from farms round about. You don't actually know, I don't think they tell you other than on the website, so it's just me being lazy not going on the website. But if you go on the website they'll tell you what potatoes they are, but other than that they just come and they're just potatoes in a box. So I'm never really sure, but I mean, I suppose you can only go so wrong. It's just potatoes, isn't it? Right, so I think that's fairly well flattened. So we just get a nice tray of mash, and it's quite warm, so I think I might even have a quick look and see if I've got space in the freezer, and I'm just going to pop it in for maybe 5-10 minutes to cool it down, so that then we can start adding the other bits to it, so that it's not going to like cook the egg or anything like that. So I'm going to pop this in here. Oh! And as luck would have it, I think I've actually got space in the freezer. Well, my freezer door shut. No. Never mind, spoke too soon. Yeah, it's just going in the fridge. It's too big for the freezer. Okay. So while that's in the fridge for, oh, and the fridge door's not closing now. We're there. So that's going to go in there for, I'm hoping maybe just about 10 minutes. I think that should be enough, because you basically just want the main heat out of it so that you can start adding the other bits. So I'm just going to get the other stuff out and start weighing it so that we're ready when it's done its thing. So the rest of the things I need are 1 egg, flour, salt, nutmeg and butter, and ideally sage leaves, but I don't know if it's a Scottish thing or if it's just where I am. It's really hard to find fresh sage, and I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if anybody else has this problem, but I've really struggled over the past wee while to get any sage, so I'm going to do it with our sauerkraut and bacon anyway, so the sage is not required today. But maybe if these turn out nicely, it might be another nice idea to have if you just fancy maybe something a bit lighter. And I don't think, no, it doesn't say what flour. I'm just going to use plain flour, because it doesn't need to rise or anything. It is just little kind of noodly things. Flour, salt, nutmeg. And it says ground nutmeg, but I don't have any. I've only got the whole nutmeg, so I'm just going to grate a little bit of that. And what's the other thing? 1 egg. that's all of that sorted, and then I need to start, I'll wash out my pan. Right, so we need to cook these kind of twice almost. So basically, first of all, we're gonna, once I've formed them and shake them all up nicely, then we want to cook them in lightly boiling salted water until they come to the top. So I suppose that's like what you would do with gnocchi, isn't it? I think that's how you would traditionally cook gnocchi, is you kind of boil them and then they'll sort of start to rise to the top, and that's when you know that they're ready. So we do that, and then once they're all ready, leave them to cool for a bit, and then we'll fry them up with a little bit of butter, and then we'll add in our sauerkraut. Now this is something, I feel like I'm cheating slightly by having a jar of it, but I've made it once before because I was quite intrigued to see how it works, and it's supposed to be really good. Obviously it's like a superfood, and because it's fermented, it's supposed to be really good for people with IBS, because you wouldn't think so, but it's quite easy to digest. So I tried making it. It looked okay, but I'm not quite sure. There must have been something that went wrong in the process, because when it actually came to eating it, it was really, really kind of bitter, and it just didn't taste nice. I don't know if it was over fermented or under fermented, or if I put too much of one ingredient in, or I'm not quite sure, but either way it wasn't very nice, and it was a lot of work and a lot of time to get a jar of stuff that then had to be thrown out because no one would eat it. So I've learned from that, and I've bought a jar, and we've had this one before and it is really nice, so it saves me a lot of time, and it's still good because it is good for you. So that's going in. So I'm going to wash out my pot so that I can use that once the potatoes come out. Do that quickly just now. Well, the sun is definitely coming back out. It's threatening. Although half of the sky is nice and light and the other half is dark. So I'm hoping the dark bit is what we've already had and it's away and the light stuff's coming, but it would be quite nice to have a nice weekend, just for a change. I hope you've all got nice things planned for the weekend. Hopefully the weather is better where you are and you're actually able to enjoy it. The only problem with potatoes is it's like glue, so it's stuck to the pot, something rotten. To boil our little dumplings. I can't do dishes without making such a mess. It's ridiculous. Right, so that's our pot ready for our, I suppose you could call them gnocchi because they are quite similar. I don't know if there's anything different to the recipes, but they are similar. So, and I don't know if you can see that, hopefully not, but I've absolutely soaked myself. Right, I'm going to weigh out my flour so that we're ready to go. If you've been here from the beginning, I'm not quite sure, I'm going to say this again, but I have, so the recipe that I found, it's for a German dish, but it's an American recipe, so all of the measurements were in, imperial measurements. So, but you're able on the recipe to change it to metric. So I've changed it to metric, but it means that for flour, it says I need 157 and 3751 mils of flour. So I'm gonna round it up. I'm just gonna say, right, we'll go for 160 maybe. And I used more potatoes actually. So this said 453.59 grams of potatoes, which is it's very specific. And before I peeled them, I had about 700 grams. So I'm just gonna weigh out 160 grams of flour, and if it needs more, I'll just add a bit more in. So I'll get my scales back. Give them a wee wipe out. Yeah, it's very specific. That's why I always think, how do those two measurements relate? Because if it's like exact on one side, so say like 100 or 200, by the time you swap it to the other one, it's lost all sense. So, but then I suppose it's better than cups, because with cups it's just like, well, there or thereabouts. Don't know. How big's your cup? Depends. Right, so what do we say? 160 grams. And I need to watch, on the stream the other day, I managed to poke a hole in my flour bag. So my flour now leaks, which is always good. Right, so 160 we said. I think that should be enough. It doesn't look like there's a lot of potatoes, and I'm assuming that with the flour it's just enough to kind of bind it together. So 160. And again I'm using gluten-free flour, but if you're not gluten-free, just use regular flour. And I went for plain flour. It didn't say, but I'm assuming if it just says flour, then it means plain flour. Right, so we've got our flour there ready. And then, so it's just a pinch of salt, 1 egg, a pinch of nutmeg, and some butter. So I'll grab the butter so that we're ready for that when we get to that stage. And I think actually the potatoes are good for us to start rolling them out. Butter in a pan, I'll get my pan ready. Sorry, that was really loud. Right. I'll grab my potatoes now and we can get all the bits and pieces in them. Yeah, so that's actually cooled down really quickly. That only took maybe, what was that, about 5-10 minutes? So, out of that, I'm going to get a bowl back over and we can start mixing stuff into it. Quite looking forward to these for lunch. It's just been such a long time since I've had them. And if you fry them well, they can be really nice and crispy on the outside and like kind of soft and fluffy on the inside. That's what we're aiming for anyway. Right, knead the egg and flour into the potatoes. So I'll pop the potatoes back in a bowl. That's so strange, it's like a slice of potato. I mean, look at that. That does not look particularly appetizing. So you can probably see there are still a few lumps. I don't know if you can see there, slightly darker bits where it's still kind of lumpy, but you saw how long I mashed for. It wasn't getting any better. Potato on the floor as well. Right. So I think now I'll just add it all in and then probably get a bit messy and just mix it all together. That seems like a lot of flour. I'm going to put a little bit in at a time, I think, rather. Just because I don't want to put too much in all at once and then go, it's far too floury and not be able to do anything about it. So a pinch of salt, and I salted the water when I was making the potatoes. So they should be a bit salty, but I would just add a little bit more just in case. And then I've got the smallest, I think this is so cute, the smallest grater in the world for my nutmeg. And I'm just going to get a little, it's a weird smell, nutmeg. I don't know if I like it. It's one of these things, quite a lot of recipes ask for it. And I'm sure it does make a difference, but I don't know if I would say that I actually like it or not. So I want a pinch of the nutmeg. I'd say that looks like a good pinch. And the good thing with the whole nutmeg is if you kind of grate it, you can grate a little kind of chunk off the nutmeg and just pop it back in the jar. So a jar like this will last you forever because you use so little of it at a time. So that's why I quite like the whole nutmeg rather than the ground stuff. And then we want to add our egg. Oh, huge bit of shell. Wash my hands, don't want any of that egg on me. Right, so we've got 1 egg, salt, flour and nutmeg. And then I'm gonna give it a stir first before I get my hands in because I want to incorporate the egg a wee bit more than having to get it in my fingers because I'm not a big fan of the texture of egg. So that's kind of what it's looking like at the moment. I'm just going to keep going until it all comes together. But yeah, I think the recipe says to add all of the flour at once, but I think if you do that, you're going to struggle to get it all mixed through. So I would recommend just a bit at a time and just kind of keep kneading it and then add the next lot and then add another bit until it's all kind of worked through it. So that's coming together not too badly now. See, so we're getting there with it. Okay, so yeah, whenever we feel at it, that's the problem, I've never made them before, so I'm not quite sure what they're supposed to feel like. I think that's it, once you've made something a couple of times then you know roughly how they're supposed to be. I'm going to add a little bit more flour because there wasn't a lot of flour there compared to the recipe. And I think the flour will probably also help to get a kind of crispy coating on them, and the crispier they are, the nicer they are. I think this is going to be better. I think I've measured out far too much flour. So, and then it says knead it in and then form into a long roll. So we want kind of like a big long sausage that we can then cut up into little pieces and then roll and make our little dumplings. So you can see that there, that looks not too bad actually. So what we're going to end up with hopefully is this kind of idea. Although that seems quite big. but that kind of a thing. So just like a little dumpling. Hang on, I'm going to put that off. So that's, yeah, so lots of them, and then we're going to fry them in the pan with a little bit of butter. So I reckon that's enough flour here. I think that'll do us, because we don't want it too floury or they'll kind of start to fall apart. Up out the road. Okay. And then you just want to make sure it's all well mixed through. And then we can start rolling it out. So I think that'll do it, because you don't really need to knead it. It's not like it's bread or anything. there. I need to make a bit of space for it. Rid of all of this stuff. And so we've got a nice, just a big ball of potato dough now. And I'll probably do this in a few different chunks because otherwise I'm going to end up running out of space completely. My hands a quick wash. That's the only problem with that. When it's like potato and flour, it just sticks to everything. We don't need any of this anymore. Over that. Right. I think it looks good. Well, I hope so. That's the aim. We'll see how we go. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop it into maybe 4 chunks. It doesn't say anything about... No, it doesn't say anything about flouring the worktop, so I think we should be okay just as it is. It's like Play-Doh. It is like Play-Doh, it ends up absolutely everywhere. So I'm just going to chop it into 4 little blocks. And we'll start kind of rolling it out. So it says form into a long thin roll. That's annoying, isn't it? Okay. So a long thin roll. And I think probably as well, with a bit like gnocchi, you could probably just make this into gnocchi. So if you wanted gnocchi, you could just do little, like smaller chunks, almost like kind of little cubes. I think a wee bite might be good so it doesn't stick. It's not actually sticking so far. I might put a little bit on. It seems okay so far, but you don't want it to start sticking and then you end up in a bit of a mess. Right, so we've got, can you see that okay on the other camera? Yeah, it's not too bad. So we've got a kind of a long thin roll, as it says on the instructions. The instructions of the recipe. And then I'm just going to take off maybe about that much each time. And then it says rolling them with your palms. I feel like there's definitely a kind of a knack to this. It's one of these things that you can imagine like a German granny knowing exactly what to do and just being able to make this without even thinking. So that's the first one. I would say that looks pretty good. It's quite long. It's maybe a bit longer than I would want it. But I think that's kind of what you're going for. So I'm going to just get a plate out so I can pop these on when they're ready. Just stick them up there. So we've got one of them. So I'm just going to do the same. Just chop it up into little chunks. I suppose, yeah, it's up to you if you want to have them longer or thinner or chunkier. Eventually, I think they're all gonna taste good. You might just need to cook them slightly longer if they're a bit thicker. That's working quite well actually with your palms. I think because of the shape of your palms, it kind of automatically rolls it so that you've got the thicker bit in the middle. So I'm just going to keep doing this. I'll probably get bored halfway through because that's quite a lot of dough to roll out, but and then you want to get them kind of similar sizes because obviously then they'll all take the same amount of time to cook. I think I need bigger hands for this. They're kind of flailing about at the ends. And I'm not sure how many, this recipe, well, the bit that I've got printed out, it doesn't actually say how many people that it's for. So, I mean, I'm not quite sure even how many that you would make for one portion. But I would say, just from looking at this, it looks like this is going to be quite a good amount. So maybe, you could probably get 4 portions out of this, I would think, because I think with this one that I'm rolling out just now, I think I'll get a portion out of. Also, I suppose it depends on how hungry you are. That's a big one. Yeah, I think some of these are a bit better. I maybe need to chop them up slightly smaller next time. But it's one of these things, isn't it? Once you've done it once or twice, then you know more what you're doing and what to expect and what works. So they do look quite interesting. I'm intrigued to see how well they work. But it is something that I used to have fairly regularly. But obviously you can't buy them, because you can buy these ready-made in Germany, but you can't, I don't think you can. I've never ever seen gluten-free ones, so I've never actually bought them gluten-free, and I've never really gone to the effort to make them gluten-free. But I think it was also after the chat on Wednesday, I kind of thought, oh, I could actually grow some of these. It would be nice. We've been talking about potatoes and potato scones that we make in Scotland for like breakfast, that you would have on a roll with bacon or egg or whatever. And apparently that's the thing in America as well, which I had no idea. So we were talking about that, and ever since I've just been like, oh, craving any potatoes. Yeah, so once you kind of get into the groove of it, it's actually quite quick. And obviously you could stand for ages and make them perfect, but who's got time for that? Put a tiny bit more flour on the bench just to be on the safe side. Love a roll of potato scone with bacon. Oh my god, a roll of potato scone, bacon and a fried egg. That's, yeah. See, with that, if I could, I would probably put a wee slice of black pudding on there as well. Me making this vegetarian dish and then be like, oh, a big bit of black pudding would be lovely. But just every so often it would be quite nice. But yeah, there's nothing better than like a breakfast roll full of loads of good stuff. Oh, and a cup of tea. Oh, I could go that just now as well. Oh, it just make me hungry. At least this isn't, we're not too far away with this, so I'll be able to have my lunch soon because I'm starving. This is my problem. Anytime I come on here, I think, oh, got loads of time, I'll just take my time and just cook away. And then I get halfway through and I go, I need to eat, I'm so hungry. So I'm going to do this, oh, the same again with this lot. So I don't know if you can actually see the plate on the other little camera, but the plate's filling up. So I think, yeah, I think by the end of this one we should have 2 portions, and you could probably, I would imagine that if you're making it, you could make this amount, and if you're only going to use a half or a quarter, instead of making them all up just now, I'm sure you could freeze, like just freeze these chunks and then defrost them, leave them out to defrost, and then make up the next lot when you fancy it. They look amazing. I hope so. They do. I mean, I'm quite pleased with them so far. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about is there were definitely a few lumps still in them when I was trying to mash them. I think if you had a potato ricer, that would make a big difference. But because I've just used the standard kind of hand masher, it's possibly not as kind of smooth as they could be. But I mean, they weren't too far off. So. They do look quite funny. They're like kind of wee snakes or wee worms. Just doesn't sound quite as appealing, but I'm sure you could. I mean, some of the pictures that you see, they look absolutely perfect, and they're like a proper kind of nice shape with a wee kind of tapered ends. But if you're making a lot of them and you want a good amount for each portion, that you would get halfway and go, oh, I'm so bored. I can't do this anymore. I can't roll any more little worms out. Yeah, so some are a wee bit bigger than you can use your fancy spaceship food, but yes. I did wonder that I got halfway through the mashing and I thought, why am I doing this by hand? I could put it in, I've got my food processor over there, and it does a good job of these kind of things. So if I had thought about it more beforehand, I should have done that actually. But I'm sure they'll be fine. They're definitely not too far away from where they should be. And I don't know if anyone, I think that would probably work. Yeah, I think so. And if you've only just joined us, I don't know if you'll have seen the fake bacon that we made earlier on, which was definitely, I think, a bit of a revelation. I'll show you a bit just now, like. So this is our fake bacon. It did, didn't it, Jennifer? It looked so good. Some of it you need to watch though. There was one piece that I put far too much of the sauce on, and it was so strong I couldn't eat it. But if you make it properly and you don't burn it and you don't put too much sauce on, it tastes exactly like bacon, and it's vegan, and there's only, what was that, 5 ingredients. So I'm definitely making that again. So I'm just gonna, I was thinking about just doing half of the dough and leaving the other half to do another time, but I'm looking at the amount that I've got here on the plate, and it doesn't look like a huge amount, so I'm just gonna make all of it, and then I'll eat as much as I eat, and the rest will probably be for lunch tomorrow. So it won't go to waste, it'll be fine. You can see they're handmade. Yes, they are. Well, that's it. Absolutely everything. Well, apart from the sauerkraut, everything is handmade. Cheated slightly with the sauerkraut, but yeah, the one time I tried to make that myself, it was a bit of a disaster. So I've gone the easy route this time, which I think that's okay. I mean, that there's so much of this that you're making from scratch anyway, that to add a little bit of sauerkraut from a jar, I don't think anybody can be too upset with me, hopefully. It's quite therapeutic actually, just this rolling the little worms, but they're definitely getting bigger than what I'm doing. I think that's it. I think I'm like, right, I just want this to be done now. And I'm just making them a bit big, but I'll show you them in the camera in a wee second. And then once we've done all of this, we're going to get our pot on. So actually, once I've rolled these out, I'll put the kettle on and make some boiled water so that I can put that in the pot, and then we're going to boil them a bit like you do with gnocchi. So you just pop them in the pan of boiling water and wait until they all start to rise to the top. And then once they rise to the top, that means they're cooked through. And then I'll take them out, and then we'll fry them up with all our other bits. And then we can go and enjoy them, hopefully. if they turn out the way I'm hoping. Oh. Yeah, so that's, yeah, I would reckon from that amount that I made, you could get 4 portions. Because you're going to have sauerkraut with it, and sauerkraut's quite filling as well. Okay, so I'm going to wash my hands quickly and boil the kettle, and then I'll do the last chunk while the kettle's boiling. There they are. Okay, so last chunk. We'll roll it out again. I'll show you this while my hands were clean. So that's what we're looking at so far. So I would say they look pretty good. They're maybe slightly chunky, but I think they look pretty good. So they do look quite cool, because it's not really something, unless you are German, and I think it is a southern German thing, it's not really something that you would see here. Like it doesn't really remind me of any other kind of pasta. with the shape, obviously, like the concept of it's quite similar to gnocchi, but the shape's quite unusual. And then once they're cooked and you fry them in the butter, they go nice and brown and crispy, and they look gorgeous. So that's what we're aiming for. We'll just got a little roll, and we'll just start kind of chopping them up again. Every time I do it, I make them far too big, but try and get them a bit smaller this time. And then we'll just roll up these ones as well, and by then the water should be boiled, and then we just want to add a little bit of lightly boiling salted water, so just a little bit of salt to the pot, and let it lightly boil, and then we'll drop all of these in and let them rise to the top. I just hope they don't stick together. Maybe that's what the extra flour was for. Oh well, I'll know for next time. Nearly there. And then when we go to fry these in the pan, I'll then add the sauerkraut in and just lightly fry that as well, and just get some of the flavours of that out. And then once that's ready and we've got a nice colour on the wee dumplings, I think I'll just serve it up in bowls and then sort of crumble some of our fake bacon over the top, because I'm not quite sure how the fake bacon would work if you were to add it to frying with the other things. It might kind of break up quite a lot, so I'm just going to kind of sprinkle over the top, I think. Well, that's a lot of dumplings. Yes, that's quite a lot of dumplings. But I think because they're quite light, so you can, I mean, it looks like a lot, but I think you could probably eat more than you would expect because they're light and they are tasty. I think you found a new bacon bits recipe. I think so. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'll maybe use some of it for this today, and then get a jar and kind of crumble some of them up and just keep them and see how they go, because I think it would be quite nice to have that again, because it's nice even instead of like using salt or parmesan or something, if it's on like pasta, or I mean you could even put it on risotto, something like that, or just a sprinkle on like a sandwich. If you get a cheese sandwich you could put some, or like we said before, a BLT. It would just be quite nice to have, and then you don't have to, each time you want something like that, you don't have to go and make them. So I think I'm going to try that and see how they keep, and see if I need to keep them, because I would assume I would keep them just in the cupboard. I don't think they would need to be kept in the fridge or anything. That's a lot of dumplings I've got now. I don't know if you can see the plate in the other camera, but that's a lot of dumplings. But that'll keep me going. And then so I'll just fry up a load of these, and then if you're going to reheat them, I would just put them, anytime you want them, just get another portion out and put them back in the frying pan, just for maybe 5 minutes, just to heat them up again. Right, so that's all our dumplings made. Now our next step is to we'll boil them up. I think this is my favourite part, because I just love watching how they all start floating back to the top again. It's quite sad, but it's the little things. Okay, I'm going to need another one that's not enough water. And if anyone, just a little tip here, if anyone is ever looking for a new kettle, do not buy one like this. It looks really nice, and I do really like the look of it, but as soon as you boil it, the lid is metal. Well, it's like, well, it's kind of plasticky metal. So as soon as you boil it, that gets so hot, and then if you need to boil it straight away again, you lift that up and you burn your fingers with the lid. So it's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense at all. So if you're buying a kettle, don't buy one like that. Just an FYI. Right, I'm going to make a bit, tidy this up a wee bit. Where's my cloth gone? Where did I put my cloth? I've gone like that and completely agree when the steam burns your hand. Exactly. It's so impractical. Like I don't know who created that and thought, oh, that's a good idea. Because it just, no matter what you do with it, it burns you. Clear this up a wee bit, make a bit of space. And then I can show you. So this is the plate of dumplings that we have now. So that's quite a lot of dumplings. That's going to do us a while, but you're better to have too much than too little. That's what I always say. Pop this on and let this simmer away, and then amazing, hopefully. Fingers crossed it'll taste good. So leave that in a minute. Finish with this. Bowl. Just grab a bowl and a slotted spoon, because you'll want a slotted spoon for taking them out of the pot, because obviously you don't want any of the water to come with it. You just want the little dumplings. So that's lightly simmering, and I'll put a little bit of salt in the other boiled kettle. Again, you don't want too much salt because you've already salted the water when you made the potatoes, and then we put a little bit of salt in with the flour and the nutmeg. So just a little bit of salt in here, because otherwise they'll be so salty, and then with the bacon and the sauerkraut it'll be a bit much. So just a tiny bit. And then I'll get my pan ready, so that once they come out we can put them straight in the pan and fry them up. I think we're nearly there. I'm excited. I can't see, this is what I like about it. If you've got a recipe that you've not tried before, this is a bit that I like, when it seems like it's starting to come together and you're getting to the end and you're excited about eating it. Or is that just me? Am I just too food obsessed? Is that not normal? I'm not quite sure. Right, I've got quite a lot of water in the pot now, because there's quite a lot of dumplings. And it's to be lightly boiling. So I'm just going to turn the heat up a little bit, because I'm still coming to terms with these little the little hobs, and they can be quite temperamental. They seem to be either far too hot or far too cold. So I'm just kind of playing about with them to get them to the right temperature. And then we're going to drop all of the dumplings into the water. It doesn't say how long, it does just say until they float to the top, which I think with like gnocchi and stuff, it normally doesn't take that long, so I would say maybe a couple of minutes. And I might do them in a couple of batches, because to put all of them in at one time, it might be a bit of a mess. Right, so lightly boiling. It's boiling at the bottom, but it's not boiling at the top. You can tell I'm getting impatient now. My tummy's like, I'm so hungry. Right, I think that's lightly boiling. I'm going to put one in just to see what happens. So I'll bring you with me and you can see. I can get the wire out of the way. Right. So here we have our boiling water. I may actually put it on the spoon and can you see that? Where's it gone? That's maybe a bit hot. So yeah, that's rising quite quickly. Do you fry them later with the sauerkraut? Yes. So I'll probably fry them first on their own, just to make sure we get the nice colour, and so that they've got plenty of space. I'll fry them until they're slightly crispy and then add some of the sauerkraut until that's going to cook through, and that's going to be a bit brown as well, and then we'll just serve it up like that and crumble the fake bacon on the top. Well, I don't know, this wee guy's having a lovely time in there. I think it's still too boily. It seems to be getting more aggressive than less. So I think he's about up to the top, but the bubbles are, yeah, I think we're gonna go spinning like mad. I know, he's gone nuts there. So I'm going to take it out and see what we're dealing with. Oh, it's hot. I don't know why I didn't think that would be a thing. So it feels quite, almost kind of a gooey kind of consistency now. And you can actually see it looks more cooked. So I think I'm good with that. So I'm going to pop, again, this, it's gone from bubbling like mad to nothing at all. Right, I'm going to add some more of these and we'll just see how we go. And then once they all start rising to the top, I'll just kind of scoop the ones that rise to the top out and they'll be ready to fry. And I just hope they don't all stick together in my other bowl with them. Should maybe put them on a plate rather. Fix this temperature. Yeah, I think that seems a bit better. Because you want a bit of movement to it, but not like the first one where the wee guy was just a bit jumping out of the pot. Oh, they smell really nice. They actually smell quite similar to like potato scones, which is what we had the discussion about on Wednesday, they're like potato cakes, or what was it in the US they're called potato pancakes. And I suppose that the ingredients are quite similar. So some of these are starting to rise to the top already. So I'll show you quickly and then I'll grab those ones out. So you can see the ones on the top, so I'll take them out, they should be ready. And then the other ones will slowly come to the top when they are cooked as well. And then it'll just be a case of frying them all off. Oh no, one broke. Yeah, they're a strange consistency now. They are quite, almost kind of slimy. I suppose that's probably from the potato and the flour. But once we fry them in butter, I'm sure that'll help. And then just try and kind of shake off as much of the water as possible. You don't want them sitting in water in this bowl. Broke another one. Meal up at the top. So I think that's the first batch is done. So you can see just how quick that is. I mean, that's literally a couple of minutes and they're all up at the top. And then that's our first lot of boiled dumplings. And then I'll pop. Again, what is going on with this? Calm down. Right. We'll pop the rest in and then we can get our pan on. As I was saying, I think a nice one for this would be if you didn't want to use the sauerkraut and the fake bacon, you could make these and do them in like a sage butter, because that's actually the recipe that I'm using. That's what they say to do. I could not find sage anywhere. Fresh sage doesn't seem to be a thing in Scotland. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but couldn't find it anywhere, so I had the sauerkraut here already, so I thought I'm just going to use that, and that's the way we used to eat it in Germany, but obviously with real bacon. So I do think that would be quite a nice way of doing it as well. If you could get sage, and it'd be a lot quicker, obviously you could just make them up and then just fry them in a little bit of sage and a little bit of butter. That's the next lot's all coming up to the top as well. There's something quite nice about just watching them all float to the top. Right, that's all of our dumplings in the pot. So I'll start taking out the ones. Yeah, no, I think they're okay. I was worried that when I put these in the bowl that they'll all start sticking together. But I think they'll be okay, because obviously we're going to fry them quite quickly after these are done. So hopefully they won't stick together too much. I mean, I maybe would have been better putting them on a plate with some kitchen towels, just to help them kind of dry off a little bit, but I think as long as you're careful and you kind of break them up once they're in the frying pan with the butter, you should be fine. And I think they have got a bit chunkier. They look a wee bit chunkier than they did before. Yum. Oh, I hope so. I really hope this is tasty, because I suppose it's a bit of a process. But then if you were making them and if you were a big fan of them, you could just make double the amount of the dough and then freeze half of it. Or I'm sure you could make them up and then freeze them, and then you don't have to go through the whole process again. Next time you want them, you can just grab them out of the freezer and either make them up or just fry them up from there. Right, I'm going to get rid of this and then we can start to fry them off. I've got my biggest pan because I thought I'm going to probably need quite a lot of room for this, and it says to use butter rather than oil, so I'm going to go with that and just pop some butter. Come on in. Just pop some butter in the bottom of the pan. So it doesn't say, just says a knob of butter, which is really helpful. So I'm just going to put a couple of chunks, because you can always add a bit more if you need it to be, if you want a bit more crisp on it. You can add it on, you can add some butter on later on. I think that'll do for the moment. I'll just let that heat up. And you can see there's our nice bowl full of dumplings. Yeah, and they're not sticking together too much. And then I'm going to open this now, just in case I have problems. I thought I might. Oh, for goodness sake. Although there's a trick that I've done a couple of times. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So if you've got like a jar like this, it's really difficult to open. What is it? I think you tap the bottom of it, and then you get like a spoon or something that's got quite a thin end on, and if you put it between the jar and the lid, if it's thin enough, you can actually, obviously it's not going to work today, if you push down on the spoon, it should like loosen the vacuum. There we go, and you can actually hear it pop. So you just want to stick your spoon in there, just the end of the spoon. If it's thin enough, you can stick it in there and bend it down to pop that bit out. Don't hurt yourself, please. No, I'm okay. We're okay. I mean, that may be a trick that everybody knows, and I've been a bit, I'm a bit behind times on it. But I found that out recently, and I thought that's amazing. That's such a good trick. So, and it works. I think there's only been one thing that it's not worked on, so it works on most things. You just need to make sure that the end of your spoon's quite thin, and don't use like a knife or anything, because that's when you could hurt yourself. Right, I wonder if I could put you over here so you can watch the pan. No, that's not gonna work. I'll figure that out for the next time. Right, so I'm just gonna start popping these into the pan with the butter, and just watch that I don't kind of break them up. They are quite gooey. They are definitely quite gooey. Just spread the butter around a wee bit. Yeah, I think that's a better temperature now. Oh, see that? Right, that's the problem. If I put my spoon in, it starts breaking them up again. So I need to be really careful, because I want the wee worms to stay intact. And I think I'll maybe put in half of this mix. So I don't want to crowd the pan, because you want to make sure that the little dumplings have got enough space that they can properly go brown on all the sides, that you've got a bit of space to kind of turn them all around. I think that looks maybe like a portion. Maybe put a couple more in. Oh no, they're sticking. Right, hang on. I need one of these, I think. There we go. Right, so I'm just going to do one portion to begin with, and then I can fry up the rest later on. So we've got, can you see them? And you can see some of them are starting to go nice and brown already. I mean, look how good they look. How good do they look? Come on, chat, a wee bit of encouragement. How good do they look? And then you just want to kind of keep turning them around until as much of them are as brown and as crispy as possible. You can actually see how much crispier they've gone. But again, you want to be fairly careful and try not break them up. So I'm going to pop you back over here for a wee second until I get these all done. And just make sure they don't all stick to the bottom of the pan. And then once they've got a bit more colour, well done, thank you very much. It's only taken me 2 hours, but we're nearly there. Oh, yummy. I hope so. I mean, it smells really good, and to be honest, as soon as you kind of fry stuff in butter, it always kind of tastes nice. There's just something about frying stuff in butter that makes stuff taste good. We're getting some nice colour on that now. We are indeed, right. think we're not too far away. You want to make sure you get as much colour in them as possible before we add our sauerkraut, because there'll be a bit of kind of, not water, but a bit of liquid from the sauerkraut. So if these aren't quite brown enough, the liquid will stop them from getting too much more brown. So you want to make sure that they're pretty much done before we add anything else. Some amount of steam coming off this, but I'm not quite sure why. So it's not. We'll try it at that and just see how we go. Yeah, and as I said, if you make these in advance and then you pop them in the fridge, say overnight, and you want them for lunch the next day, I would just almost kind of refry them, but just very quickly. So just pop them in a hot pan with a little bit of butter again, just for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, just until they heat up again and kind of crisp up again, because that's all you're really looking for. Right, I think we're just about there with the crispiness of them now, especially since the middle of the pan seems to be so hot. Move them round a bit so they all get a fair shot at the middle. Thank you very much for the follow, Dynadol. Nice to have you here. We're nearly there. We've been here for just over 2 hours, but I've nearly got something for my lunch, so quite happy. Right, I think that's, I mean, obviously if you like these really crispy, you could just keep going and be really particular about it and make sure you get brown on all of the sides. So that's what we're looking at the moment, and I would say that's quite good. I mean, they are nice and firm and crispy, but you've still got that kind of the soft fluffy inside. Just give them a quick shuffle. Yeah, that looks good. Right, so I'm going to add some of my sauerkraut to this now and move a few bits out of the road so that when I plate it you can actually see and I'm not just in a mess here. Hi Dynadol, I was going to say good morning, but it's not morning anymore. Good afternoon. Right, what did I want a spoon? So if you've just joined us and you've not seen the start of it, I am making gluten-free and vegetarian German potato dumplings. So they're a bit like, they're probably most like gnocchi, where you boil them up. So they're made with like mashed potato, a little bit of flour, some seasoning, and then you want to roll them out into the little shapes, boil them until they rise to the top, and then fry them like we've done just now. And with this one I'm going to add the sauerkraut, and we made some fake bacon earlier which turned out really well. So I'm just going to add, I would say per portion, maybe about 3 tablespoons of the sauerkraut. Obviously it depends how much you like sauerkraut. If you're a big fan, add more. If you're not a big fan, maybe do the sage butter or do something else with it. But I quite like sauerkraut, so I'm going to do, I think, 3 tablespoons. And I should have a spoon somewhere. I've used all my spoons. And then you just want to kind of mix this through. So basically now all we're doing is just heating the sauerkraut through, mixing it together with your little dumplings. I'll show you this on the bigger camera. So you can see that's what it looks like. So, and it smells amazing. See the smell of sauerkraut? There's just something really comforting about sauerkraut. And I'm a big fan of like quite kind of vinegary things. Like if I was to do a salad dressing, I would put a lot of vinegar in. And I like pickled things, pickled onions. Although pickled eggs is one I've never really got on board with, but so we're just going to leave that to fry off for a minute or two yet. And in the meantime, I'll grab a bowl. Pop me back up there. Get rid of this. And again, I'll be tidying my kitchen for hours after that. I'm not very good at tidying up after myself. Yeah. So we just want our bowl there. Whoa. Oh, it smells so good. I think we're just about there. Hello Lyles85, nice to have you here. Thanks for watching. Now we're nearly at the end of it, but I suppose that's a good thing because it means that you can now see what I've spent ages making and I get to eat it soon because I am so hungry. So we've made German Schupfnudeln, which are potato dumplings, similar to gnocchi, but I've made them now with sauerkraut and we made some fake bacon. So while I'm waiting for that, I'll show you the fake bacon because I'm not gonna lie, it's a bit of a revelation. So this is what it looks like. We had a bit of a discussion about it earlier and some people reckon it looks a bit like chunks of wood, like wood scrapings, which it kind of does, but that is made with, so it's rice paper. So you just chop up the rice paper and then dip it in a sauce which is made of smoked paprika, maple syrup, tamari and nutritional yeast, and then pop them in the oven for about 4 to 5 minutes, and it actually really tastes like bacon. I didn't expect it at all, and I thought, especially with the nutritional yeast, I thought that seems a strange one because I'd never thought of bacon as tasting cheesy. But apparently that seems like quite a vital ingredient. So I would say these are ready now, so I'm going to just plate up and we can tuck in soon. And I'm showing you the wrong side, I'll show you this way. You don't want to see the bottom of the pan. So this is a really kind of comforting, especially in like autumn or winter, this is the kind of an ideal thing that you want to be eating. It's not the prettiest, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna shimmy things about a wee bit and try and make it look a bit nicer. That's what food blogging's all about. You just want to make it look nice at the end. The process up until then isn't really the important part. As long as it looks nice when you're plating up, that's the main thing. Oh, and I can hear myself again. That hob is so loud. Right, so this is what it looks like in our bowl. And then I'm just going to take some of the bacon. So we were saying earlier that actually it's not too bad, but the recipe for the bacon says that it can go a bit almost kind of chewy again, like it's really crispy when it comes out of the oven, but it can go a bit chewy again. So if it does that and you want it really crispy, before you have it, pop it back in the oven just for a minute or two and that'll help crisp it back up again. But I think this is crispy enough for just now. So I'm just going to sprinkle some over at the top here. And then maybe avoid that bit because it looks a wee bit dark. Looks great. Well, thank you very much. Looks yummy. I hope so. I'm looking forward to tucking in. Can you actually hear how Oh, the one bit that I show you that it's crispy and it's not actually that crispy. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at the end. And I'm going to take a quick photo, and then I can get tucked in. But yes, so this is my gluten-free and vegetarian German potato dumplings, we'll call them, with sauerkraut and fake bacon. And now I'm going to try something that I tried yesterday and it didn't work. So once I go away and eat that, I am going to try and raid someone else. So we're going to see who else is online. That's amazing that you can actually hear how crispy it is. Thank you very much. I hope it tastes as nice as it looks. Quite a picky eater and I would finish that off. Yeah, that's it. It's I mean, there's nothing really to that you wouldn't want to eat. I'm off to bed now, you've made me hungry. I'm sorry. You'll be dreaming about German dumplings, which will be a bit strange, but hopefully you'll have a nice breakfast in the morning. Delicious, I hope so. Right, so I'm gonna just check who is on Twitch at the moment. And I'm gonna try this again and see if it works. It didn't work yesterday, but it might work. There are worse dreams to have, definitely. There are much worse dreams to have. Who is online? Happy Chef is online. Right, I think he's the one for today. Right, so I'm gonna see if this works. So stay with me for a wee second and we're hopefully gonna go and raid Happy Chef TV. I've watched him a few times and he's brilliant. He's really, really good. Really positive, really good fun. So his name is Happy. Let's see if this works. There we go. This is gonna work, right? So it's gonna give me, I think, a minute or two. So I'm gonna say cheerio and then it's gonna take you over to Happy Chef TV, who is great fun. I'm not sure what he's making today, but it's always a good time watching him cook. So I'm gonna go and enjoy this. I'm gonna say thank you very much for joining me today. I'll be back on Sunday morning. A notification, yes, it seems to have worked now because I think I've got a notification here as well. So I'm going to click the button now. If you try this, do let me know. You can tag me in on Instagram or wherever you are. I'm everywhere, so just find me there and let me know if you've tried it. And we're going to go and raid Happy Chef TV, and I will see you all again hopefully on Sunday morning. Have a great weekend, everyone.
And the 45 for life, baby. Enjoy the emotes in the badge, culpable. Thank you so much for the 7 months. Much love. And GC Pink, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Food Cave. Good vibes, good food, and appreciate the follow, my dude.
123 gifted a tier 1 sub to Parrot Jock. This is their first gift sub in the channel.
Yo, Ping Ping, gifting a sub to Parayoch. Let's go, Ping Ping. With the 45 for life, baby. Parayoch, enjoy the emotes in the badge. And think Pink Pink for the love. Yo, Pink Pink, thank you so much for that gift sub. Appreciate it. Let's go, baby. Yo, Copper Confetti, good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a good stream. Thank you for joining. Regular dude, what's up, broski? Welcome in too. Let's go, baby. Rex Gap, what's up? Welcome in too. Thank you for joining, everyone. Yeah, sorry for making you hungry, you know. We got good vibes, we got good food, but I definitely make people hungry. Thank you for the lurk, Rex. Appreciate that. Let's go, baby. We got a beautiful cucumber from the garden as well. Pretty nice. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I think it's going to be tomorrow with that. Here we got the rest of the garden tomatoes. Super nice too. We're going to use them for the main dish. Soon we're going to fillet that fish, guys and girls. We're going to fillet the beautiful dorada. Joker Smoker, welcome to the Food Cave. Joker Smoker, thank you for the follow, bro. Appreciate it, man. Welcome in. Let's go for show. Let's go. Yeah, I'm gonna mix the sauce and then I'm gonna take a coffee break and then I'll be right back. After that, we're gonna fillet the fish, color some mayo, and get ham, fam. And the upcoming YouTube videos are going to be awesome too, guys and girls, by the way. Yo, no worries, Rex Gap. I catch you later, bro. What I do in my beets is a little bit of vinegar, bay leaf, some onion, a little bit of garlic, pepper, salt, a little bit of sugar, and a little bit of water. That's super simple, but definitely super nice for the beets. Sounds good, Copper Confetti. Are we making a nice herring dish, new herring with beetroots and mayo? A little flour on there, a little bit of herbs, a little petit peu of salad, and some cucumber, I think. And then after that, dorado with spaghetti, tomato sauce out of the garden, and some zucchini, and some tarragon. Crazy wicked. I hope you're doing well, legend. Thanks again for the love, man. I appreciate it, bro. School, yeah, buddy. See you soon, B. Get that food, brother. Rave, what's up, my man? Good to see that you got your account back. Thanks for joining, bro. Magus, what's up? Always nice to have a fight with your best friend. Oh, that's always sucks. I hope it will be okay for you, Magus. I hope it will be okay. Take it easy, bro. Thank you, Copper Confetti. And we got Skill for Killy. Welcome to the Food Cave. Good vibes, good food. Thank you for the follow, Skill for Killy. Powder Bond Legend. High five. What's up, brother from another mother? Hope you and wifey are doing well. And thank you for joining, my man. Let's get this back on the fire. Fresh garden tomato sauce is gonna be. Oh, it tastes so good. Woo! Butter. Yo. Welcome to the Food Cave, and thank you too for the follow, buddy. Appreciate it, man. SB, what's up, homie? Let's go with the Foodie Fam Friday, yeah! Banger. Booty swanger. Good to hear, Powder Bond. Getting more chips, getting some chips, let's go. get that coffee breaker. Get over here. Almost a giveaway, by the way, beautiful people. Beetroots are almost done. We're gonna fillet the fish soon, guys and girls. Give me a quick moment. I'm gonna take a coffee breaker and take a quick lick. And I'll be right back if you don't mind. We're gonna start filleting that fish. Or should we first make the herring dish? The filleting the fish is maybe awesome for later. When we got more peeps in there maybe. Start on the herring dish. First that coffee breaker. So I'll be right back, beautiful people. Thank you for still hanging out. Got some nice clips to check out. So let's get lit, eh? We gotta clip that, folks. Clip that breakdancing dog, folks. Come on. Whoop, whoop. There she goes. I'm doing fine, Rush. Super duper, mate. I hope you're doing fine too. We had a little busy day today, but it's good. We need some money for the bills to pay, of course. So, and I'm working a little bit less. Mooi duik doen met z'n allen. Ja. Even een serie jump. Of niet? Happy Chef TV. Ik heb ook een YouTube kanaal, maar dat doe ik niet live. Op Twitch doe ik live. Doe je met z'n allen een serie. Hè? Dan moeten we even aftellen. Even aftellen. 2, 1, go! Let's go, baby! Nee, niet met die rugtas. Ik zou zonder die rugtas zou ik wel willen, maar dat gaat toch niet worden. Thank you so much for the sub, bro. Zullen we de papa zwemmen? Zullen we de papa zwemmen, Ziva? Stinkt hier een beetje. Dit is een paal, hè? Kom maar, hoedjes. Hey, doefje! Best voor water. Oh, this is hot. Ooh, this is hot. Cooking in my pot. Chef not hot. Scoot up, pop, pop, pop. Chop, chop, joy. Chopping on my board. With a chop, chop, joy. Scoot up, pop, pop, pop. And the chef's not hot. Okay, let's take a look to that beans. Beans. But she's dope, guys. She's really awesome.
She's really dope.
Nee, maar dat is... Let's go. Oh, heerlijk. Oh, heerlijk. Oh. Low, guys. Can somebody clip that? Clip that, yeah. Don't wreck it up. Come on, baby. Woo! Your body.
We all know travelogues, beautiful views, and the presenters trying to fit in.
I feel like a pervert.
Join me to find out what makes Japan.
Nobody saw that, okay? Don't clip it. Don't clip it, okay? Nobody saw that. Okay? Shh. go. Seagull over here. Bro. You chill, man. Nice chill dude, my man. You say, what's up, Foodie fam? Foodie fam for life, baby. What? Yo, that guy. Thank you for the patience, beautiful people. Let's go, baby. Sir Farmanot, what's up? Thanks for joining. I hope you're doing well. Foodie fam for life, BZ, 100%, bro. Yeah, that bird is legend, man. He is the boss. Their boss is over there in Iyasaki. Let's go, baby. Ooh la la. Let's take a look if we can add some nice cucumber out of the garden, guys and girls. The bird is a mod now. Let's go, bro. Already saw the new cam, by the way, guys and girls. It's still heading back in that standby. I need to fix some extra settings and some things with some software because it wasn't working. But yo, it's pretty lit, famo.